got the sound box.
And I've got the butter sock.
Ow! Remember, we have to be funny.
Easy for you. You're funny looking.
Hey!
And we're starting in 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's up, Surface Bay? I'm Sam.
And I'm Maya, and High Voltage starts now.
5, 4, 3, 2.
On this episode of High Voltage,
Brian tells us about the CBHS band.
Thomas tells us about student advice on stocks.
Miguel teaches us about the history of Broadway.
And Gabriella talks about underrated categories of the Oscars.
What's up, Cypress Bay? My name's Sophia Zweigers.
And I'm Elizabeth Kirk.
And High Voltage starts now.
Hey Sophia, I miss the old Broadway.
Yeah, I just really wish I learned more about it. I don't really know much.
Well, I have a friend that could teach you. Here's Miguel with the history of Broadway.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I was just getting my new Wicked hoodie that I got from New York last weekend. It was my first time going to a Broadway show, and let me just tell you, it was amazing. From the music, the lights, the set, it was everything I could have ever dreamed of. And clearly, due to my voice, you can tell that I did quite enjoy it. But then I started to get a little curious, and I thought, well, if this is my first Broadway show, I wonder what the first Broadway show to hit Broadway actually was. And better yet, how it all started. So sit down, relax, and let me give you a quick little history lesson on how Broadway came to be. Okay, but before we get into the real facts, let me give a quick rundown of what Broadway actually is for those that might be confused. Broadway is not a singular theater where just a bunch of musicals are performed. It's actually a street in New York that holds different theaters with different Broadway shows. Now, let's talk about the name for a minute. Broadway. It was first given a Dutch name that meant Gentleman's Way or Gentleman's Street. However, it was renamed after the British took over the city and gave it the name Broadway because of its unusual width. Hence the keyword broad. But now let's move on and get on to the shows. The first musical to have ever hit Broadway was The Black Crook, which premiered on September 12, 1866. This production was a staggered 5.5 hours long. I know, right? I could not be able to sit for that long. But anyway. Despite its length, it ran for a record-breaking 474 performances, and this is when it was all just getting started. Broadway didn't start to rise in fame till the subway system opened in 1904, which then caused a lot of the productions to gravitate towards Times Square. After that, audiences were starting to get really attracted to this street because of how it is constantly hosting a changing variety of productions, which includes plays and musicals. It became so popular that now people are convinced that theatrical productions on Broadway are the best in the world. And let me just say, I completely agree. With Broadway shows now being one of the most popular tourist attractions in New York City, and after learning a little more about its fascinating background, I highly recommend visiting and enjoying a production on your next trip. And who knows, maybe you'll see me there one day. I do hope you voted me for Broadway for the Lightning Oscars. Anyway, I'm Miguel Cabrera, CBTV.
Oh my god, look at those drums!
That's so cool. Where did they come from?
They came from our school's band.
We have a band?
Yeah, Brian could tell us more information about our band.
Run by the trustworthy Mr. Dawson, this jazz band shows competence and talent with all the players within it, with all sort of different instruments.
So we had this after-school program for beginner jazz players at my middle school, and I showed up one day, and I've just been playing jazz since. I think, we're doing actually kind of well, despite coming out of the pandemic. We got straight superiors at MPA, which honestly caught me off guard, but, I think there are some areas where we could be doing a lot better, but, we're doing pretty good.
As heard from the interviewee, an MPA is when all bands come together to compete against each other in front of judges for ratings that go from superior, good, okay, and bad, along with thoughts what to work on from the judges themselves. That's it for the Jazz Band. This is Brian Power, CBTV.
I've been short on money lately, and I've been thinking of investing in stocks. Do you have any advice?
No, I don't, but I know someone who does. Next up is Thomas with student advice on stocks.
The stock market has been a hot topic for a long time, and especially with what's going on right now in Europe. First of all, what is the stock market?
The stock market is like the platform or like system where companies or investors buy or sell their stocks.
The stock market is where you buy and sell stocks.
The reason for someone to begin investing in the stock market varies for each person, but usually it's due to them hearing about it from someone.
I started investing because my friend told me about it.
When investing, people have a lot of options, as there are many companies around the world that allow investors to buy and sell stocks.
I'm invested in Apple. My main ones are Apple, Tesla, and I have a couple of shares in like a S&P 500.
Because of the war in Ukraine, there have been many stocks that have been affected in the stock market.
I don't know what oil companies are public. They might have an issue. So I'm sure some investors are having a bad time if they have invested in Russia.
This effect on the stock market has left people thinking differently about investing.
I don't think it's a good time to invest right now because the stocks are going up and down.
This was Thomas Alvarado, CBTV.
Next up is Miguel with This Week's Sports.
What's up, Cypress Bay? I'm Miguel Valen, and the world has recently been a rough sport. The war that broke out between Russia and Ukraine has seen major impacts on the sports world. Here's Andrew to tell you more.
Hello, I'm Andrew Dunham, and recently the war between Ukraine and Russia has had a major impact on sports. With the war, there are sponsorships that have been terminated, competition bans, and event cancellations. Starting off with one of the most popular sports in the world, soccer, the UEFA banned Russia from hosting the Champions League final in May, and the FIFA World Cup playoff matches will no longer be played in Russia. Formula One has also completely cancelled the Russian Grand Prix in September. Russia has also been banned from the International Skating Union, volleyball, track, cross-country, tennis, and even taekwondo. Not to mention, Russian President Vladimir Putin was stripped of his World Taekwondo black belt. This is obviously having a huge effect on sports and even destroying some Russian athletes' careers. I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but what I do know is my name's Andrew Dunham, CBTV.
Learning a new sport can be quite the challenge, as it requires skill and practice. Here's Alex on teaching us how to shoot a basketball.
What's up, Cypress Bay? My name is Alex, and today I'll be teaching you how to shoot a basketball. What I'm reading here says that the first step is to have a good stance by standing like this. The next step is to hold the ball correctly, with one being your shooting hand and the other hand being your guiding hand. So let's give it a shot. You did it. Nice job. And that is how you shoot a basketball. This is Alex G, CBTV.
And that's all for High Voltage Sports.
Hey Lizzie, what category are you most excited for in the Oscars?
There's so many different categories. I can't think of which one's my favorite.
You're right, there's a lot of underrated ones too. Here's Gabriella with the underrated categories of the Oscars.
Thank you. I want to thank all my fans for letting me have this opportunity to win this. Wait, what award is this for? What? Well, that just happened. I think it's finally time for us to talk about who's going to win this year's 2022 Oscar Awards. Let the show begin. On February 8, 2022, the nominees for this year's Oscar Awards came out. With many new filmmakers coming together to create the art of filmmaking, most people talk about Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Directors, but what about those that many people don't talk about. The nominees for this year's live-action short film are The Dress, Take and Run, The Long Goodbye, On My Mind, and Please Hold. Short films are growing more and more every year, making efforts to achieve the theme in a short time and therefore arranging its formats in an impressive way. The Dress does just that. With a duration of only 30 minutes, it captures a maid who works at a motel in Poland, trying to get a truck driver who seems interested in her, making her change the way she sees the world, and show her that in reality, she's not alone. Documentaries help people open up their minds and let the viewers know what's going on within the world and its people. Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised, is produced by none other than David Dinnerston, along with Amir Thompson, Joseph Patel, and Robert Violet. Nominated for a BAFTA Award for Best Documentary, as well as an ARP Award, dedicating the documentary to show off the culture of Black history. This film definitely made its mark, with hopes to win this year's Academy Award. The Power of Dog is the most nominated movie this year with 12 nominations, with Dune right behind it with 10 nominations. Let's see if my 2022 Oscar predictions become reality. You know what would be cool to become reality? You're winning an Oscar one day. That would be cool. Well, I'm off to now. Make sure to watch this year's Oscars on March 27th on ABC. I'm Gabriela Parra, CBTV.
And that's it for this week's episode of High Voltage.
If you want to watch more episodes, follow us on all of our social media at Cyberspace CBTV. I'm Sophia Zweggers.
And I'm Elizabeth Kirk.
Thanks for watching.